Today I'm joined by Rajia Abdelaziz, who is the CEO of invisaWear Technologies. Rajia, welcome.
Thank you so much, Scott. I'm so honored to be chatting with you today and so excited to tell everyone a little bit more about invisaWear.
So looking at your background, it looks like you are the type of curious person who's always been somewhat tinkering hardware and software. So tell us about your interests and the kinds of things that you were pursuing during high school and then college that led to your electrical engineering as well as computer science degree.
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to. So, Scott, ever since I was a little kid, I was so fascinated by electronics. My dad is an engineer himself, and I remember one Christmas, me and my younger brother had asked for a computer. And rather than getting a computer, we ended up getting all of these components. And I remember opening them and thinking, what are these? What is this green thing? It was a motherboard, but to an 8-year-old, I was like, this looks like an alien ship. And my dad laughed and he said, well, Santa said that you guys wanted a computer. What fun is it just getting a computer? We're going to build one together. And that was really one of the first things that sparked my interest in electronics and building things. In high school, I was really good at math and science. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in college. I actually was going back and forth as to whether or not to get a business degree because at the time I was a manager at an ice cream store and I loved all the aspects of running a business. But my passion for math and science and electronics took over, and I decided to do a dual degree in electrical engineering and computer science. I actually went to a local university, UMass Lowell. It's not too far away from where we are in Nashua, New Hampshire, and it was such an exciting experience. At the time in college, I was the president of the Society of Women Engineers chapter, and an experience I had while in school was actually one of the things that led me to starting my company.
Super, thank you so much. And again, I think we need more role models, especially when it comes to women in tech and women in engineering. So that's terrific.
Thank you so much.
As you worked on some of the kind of past projects, whether it's school related or outside of school, tell us about some of the challenges in working with hardware plus the actual software component, and how do you reconcile both so that you're actually able to get the right results?
Absolutely, yeah. So actually, when I started college, Scott, I was only studying computer engineering. And I ended up doing an internship for a professor in the computer science department where I was programming apps that would teach kids math and science in innovative ways. So we would take little kids on field trips. We would have them ride a boat, collect water samples from the river, and then they would test different things like the mean mode. We would push them to a website and figure out all of these things and teach them all these STEM activities, but in a more fun and innovative way. So that was so exciting. But as I was programming the software, it really started to pique my interest. How does all the hardware come together? How do all of these other things work? And that's ultimately what ended up causing me to switch majors. So I ended up switching to a dual degree. People think I'm crazy. I am. I barely got any sleep in college, but the electrical engineering aspect of it was just so interesting, and getting a really deep understanding of how the hardware works and how that interfaces with the software was extremely helpful.
So, with your background, it's a very interesting background, which makes it very suitable for what you're currently working on. So, tell us about invisaWear and what that is.
Absolutely. So invisaWear started completely by accident, Scott. It was a scary situation I had in college, just walking back to my car after an event, and a car full of guys started following me. One of them rolled down the window and started yelling inappropriate comments. The car stopped and one of them started to get out. And even though I had my phone on me, there isn't enough time during an emergency to, hey, say, stop, 1 second, I'm going to dial 911, tell the 911 operator where I am, what the emergency is, or even to call somebody close by, which I had a lot of loved ones and friends in the area who would have been able to come out right away. Thankfully, I was able to run into the car and get help, but I wasn't hurt. But what I couldn't get out of my mind was how I was so lucky, but unfortunately millions of other women and men can't say the same, that instance could have easily ended up becoming a news story. So I ended up telling one of my best friends and called Scott. I said, you know what? We should create some sort of safety device to protect people. Everything on the market is a big, ugly panic button. My grandmother's in her 80s. She says she'd rather fall and not be able to get up than to be seen wearing an ugly panic button. So it made no sense to me why all these companies were marketing these ugly safety devices to younger women or any women at all. So invisaWear is disguised as necklaces, bracelets, and keychains. They all have a button on the back. If you double press the button 2 times, it immediately texts 5 people of your choice to let them know you need help. It sends them a link to your exact location, and it can also optionally contact 911. And one of the best parts, Scott, is that it's disguised as everyday accessories. So for example, this is one of our best sellers. It's a gold flower keychain. A lot of women put it right on a purse. It's very unnoticeable. It just blends in seamlessly. We even have one of our latest collections as a fitness band, and you just simply double press the back side over here. Again, it looks exactly like a sports band, blends right in. Nobody would really even realize that you're calling for help by going just like this. So it's so exciting. It's been a little over 4 years since we started working on invisaWear. We started it in 2016, and it's been such an incredible journey for us.
Terrific. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that you personally had to experience that incident where you felt that your personal safety was in danger. And certainly it is very much a real threat and an issue all over the world. The question that I have is, within this category that you are targeting, there are lots of different varieties of solutions that are out there. I know of a growth stage startup out of Israel that's working on pure app side. It's an application that resides on your phone, and once you enable it, you basically hit the panic within that app. It basically gives the authorities permission to completely enable all the cameras and the sensors within the phone, so they don't need a hardware altogether. In other cases, it's sensor-based, or like I said, panic button and so forth. Why did you decide to incorporate jewelry into it, recognizing that the wearables market for the last 5-6 years, it's a little challenging, and it's always tricky to meet the various preferences of women, especially when it comes to fashion. So why not just have a clip-on device like a keychain? Why incorporate into jewelry form and other wearable form?
Yeah, great question, Scott. We get asked that all the time. So one of the biggest thing is making sure the safety device is as easily accessible as possible and that it seamlessly integrates into your lifestyle. Lots of women wear jewelry on a daily basis, and in an emergency, it's super accessible. Whereas, unfortunately, during most emergency situations, although your phone is with you, it's out of reach. So a lot of times it's in the black hole that is your purse by the time you grab it and activate a button on an app. That's unfortunately too much time is wasted. The other part of it is it's very discreet. So most attackers, if you even go to reach for your phone, they immediately know you're calling for help. That's the first thing they want to do is take away your phone. But they're not really going to suspect that, hey, she just was playing with her necklace nervous and she just immediately alerted an emergency personnel, or, oh, that keychain dingling off her purse, that's actually a safety device. So it's very discreet, allows you to contact help a little bit earlier. Actually, one of the biggest issues with apps is they're relying on you kind of having to take them out almost every time you go out. So to tell you a little bit more about that scary situation I was at an event with lots of friends from college, some colleagues that I work with as well. And I was walking back, I was about to leave the event, and I thought to myself, should I ask someone to walk me? And then I immediately stepped back for a second and I said, I need to stop watching the news. I'm becoming paranoid. This is crazy. I'm parked less than a block away. If I ask somebody to walk me, they're going to laugh. They're going to be like, do I need to walk you, or do I need to stick my head out of the window at the event and watch you walk to your car? And I remember thinking at the time that there are all these apps that I could simply take out an app and push some sort of button, start a timer that alerts emergency personnel if I don't push it. But I wasn't suspecting that I was going to be in an emergency. Unfortunately, 9 out of 10 times when emergencies happen, they're by somebody you know or in an environment that you perceive to be safe. The stigma is that they're happening in dark alleys at 2 a.m., and that's sadly just not the case. So the jewelry, it kind of looks pretty. Women love jewelry already. It fits into their lifestyle very seamlessly. The charms, actually, one of the cool thing about it is it comes, I'll show it to you guys on the camera. It comes with a little clasp. So you can take it off and you can put it on anything that you want. So women like to vary what they're wearing. So it looks beautiful with some of the bigger names, Alex and Ani's and Pandora's. We've seen people incorporate them into whatever style they like. So it's a little bit more fun.
All right. Okay. That sounds fine. Let's talk a little bit about kind of the pragmatic aspect in terms of depending on where this person is based throughout the world, the way the emergency services work and the triaging and the escalation process for 911 are going to be different. And so what exactly is being shared and what back end has to be in place for this to work?
Absolutely. So the setup process is super simple. The customer downloads an app onto their phone, and it takes about 5 minutes. They fill out their first name, last name, email, phone number, and they add the 5 people that they'd like to be alerted. They can change who those 5 people are at any point in time. And then they simply connect their jewelry to their phone using Bluetooth, and they don't have to worry about anything again. The device is set up. In an actual emergency, when they double press it, it immediately sends a text message to those 5 people with your exact location. If you have the free and optional 911 feature enabled, then it will call your emergency contact and it will connect them to the nearest 911 dispatchers. The 911 dispatchers are able to see through our patented technology the user's location directly on their screen, and they're also able to see some optional data that the user inputted, like their photo and that information that I was just telling you about. That all works exactly like that in the United States. We do have customers in over 20 countries internationally, which is very exciting. We just recently launched in early 2020 our international functionality. So we're so excited to have already gotten so much exposure globally. But in overseas, it simply sends a text message because all of the 911 infrastructures and police systems, like you were saying, are very different. We have some incredible partners that are expanding and allowing our patented technology to work globally in different 911-like systems. And our goal is that within the next year or two, that it will also be able to contact emergency personnel all around the world.
Right. So we're out of time. How can people find out more about invisaWear?
So they can visit us directly at www.invisaWear.com. Thank you so much, Scott.
All right. So today I've been joined by Rajia Abdelaziz, who is the CEO of invisaWear Technologies. Thanks for joining today.
Thank you so much.